Okay, so, bleeding brakes 101. Pretty sweet brake fluid, you might say, right? Wrong! See, what we got here is brake fluid that is just under 20,000 miles old and about a year and 3 months. I'm going to show you how to replace the fluid in the rear brake system so that you can either bleed your brakes if you have air in them, or you can flush it out if you need new fluid, like I do. There is what's called a dry flush and a wet flush. A dry flush is where you open the bleeder valve and just pump the system dry, and it's completely dry. The reason I'm going to do what's called a wet flush today is because, quite frankly, it's easier. That is where you keep the old fluid in the lines and you keep topping off the reservoir as you pump new fluid through. Keep air out of the system that way, and it just goes faster. So the way we do this is numero uno. We want to make sure that we have pressure in the lines. Oh, let me go over the stuff here real quick. Bleeder valve, 8mm wrench, which we can use to loosen and tighten. And we have a little drain tube going to an off-camera reservoir that we're going to be pumping this old, nasty brake fluid into. Obviously, the bike's rear brake fluid reservoir. Pump it up to get pressure in the system, loosen, compress the system, close the bleeder valve, and then let the brake pedal out. We do this so because the way the system works is if you press the brake pedal, obviously it compresses the caliper, and once we let go of the brake pedal, it sucks fluid back into the system from whichever route is easier. If the bleeder valve is open, it will suck in through the bleeder valve and make it a whole difficult, bubbly mess. So we want to make sure to close that before we bring up the pedal. It gets pretty routine after a while. And what you want to make sure and do, or rather not do, is let the brake fluid start sucking air in the reservoir. So right now we want to add some fluid. And this might be a little difficult. You can see that I put a rag here, an old set of pants, so that if I spill brake fluid on any of these parts, it's not going to eat it away. Brake fluid is just about one of the most corrosive liquids that is on the motorcycle. So we're just going to add a smidge. Actually, I'm going to go all the way up. And you want to keep an eye on the color coming out of the drain tube, because this color is not the same as that color. And it's a little bit difficult to show on camera, but it's pretty darn easy to see in real life. So don't worry, you'll know which ones are new. If you do seem to be getting a few bubbles in your line that you can't get rid of no matter how many cycles you do, give the brake pedal a few pumps and then hold for a little while. What you're trying to do is force all of the bubbles to be pushed into one large bubble. Then, while keeping pressure on the pedal, you open the bleeder valve and it should come gushing out. As soon as the brake pedal is all the way down, make sure to close the bleeder valve again as quickly as you can. That should get all of the bubbles out. Now I'm going to give it a few more cycles and it should be A-spec. Once we've gotten all the bubbles out and bled the system so it's nice and rock solid, just going to top it off. Just a smidgen of brake fluid. Just a wee bit, governor. And then we're going to take the cap that we took off, and we're going to put it back on top and spill some brake fluid on the bike, which we will wipe away in just a moment here. Tighten it nicely, but don't over tighten it. And then we take the little safety brackets. These people in Japan are so afraid of everything. Oh my goodness. And we're going to screw it back in. Just like that. And it's going to be pretty and safe, and we're not going to be spilling brake fluid all over the place, you know. Yeah. Woo! You wee man! Get some torque on there! Righto. Just wipe away the brake fluid. Just get rid of it. Don't want to leave it on there. It'll eat the paint. It'll be bad news. Bad news. And then we take the tube off. Just kind of want to wiggle it. Oops. Did we spill any? Doesn't look like it. Take the wrench off. And you put the wee bit back on. Just like that. So we've done the rear brakes, okay? That means we need to do the front brakes, okay? This is a little bit riskier than the rear brakes because the reservoir is so much smaller and a little bit more difficult to get open. I recommend you at least break the screws loose once a year. You don't have to take it all apart, just break them loose and tighten them down again, because there have been motorcycles that I have worked on that I've had to cut the damn thing off because they're rusted shut. I've already broken these loose, so they're just going to come straight out. And this one. Notice the rag, aka an old pair of ripped jeans, that will keep the evil brake fluid, off of my paint. And then we remove this one. Very carefully. Be very, very careful. Just gonna dab it dry, so it doesn't get brake fluid all over the place, you know? That would be disastrous! Okay. So, I'm going to turn this one just a wee bit this way, because it's actually going to keep the liquid level Open, squeeze, close. Open, squeeze, oops, I splurged. So we're going to close, we're going to let it out slowly, and this is why you want to do it slow, because otherwise a little brake fluid goes all over the place. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. What we also want to make sure is, just like with the rears, keep topping off that brake fluid. Don't want to get air in the lines. It's a righteous pain in the rear. You know, this is the interwebs, so I probably shouldn't cuss. Open, compress, close, let's go. Patience, take your time. It will get better, or you will go insane. No worries. I'm going to do this for a little while. Be back in a bit. Bleeding Brakes 101. Thanks for watching.